Okay, when you are taking on a landscaping project, at the forefront of what you're trying to do is add value to your home. In this video, I'm gonna show you three things. We're gonna talk about the difference between gravel and mulch and how those can play into a design. We're gonna talk about privacy. That is always important if you wanna keep the neighbors out or if you are just trying to hide unsightly things. And finally, I wanna talk about entranceways, how to make something look soft, welcoming, and inviting. These three things are gonna add a ton of value to your home. Let's go. What's going on? I'm Bobby K. I'm a professional landscape designer and general contractor. But before I was a general contractor, I was actually an installer. I was in the field well over 10 years. And with that experience, I have installed a lot of projects myself. I've designed a lot of projects myself, probably well over 1,000 projects, let alone thousands of designs. So with that comes a lot of key information that I know is gonna add value to whatever you are trying to accomplish with your project. So when you are thinking about a landscaping project, there are two things at the forefront. You wanna add value to your home and you wanna start with a plan. Design absolutely matters. If you wanna get behind the 8 ball right out of the gate, start a project without a design and see how smoothly it goes. It's one of the biggest mistakes people make, and I don't want you to make that. So let's talk about some designs and some key points that can be a template for you for your project. First one we're gonna go to, of the three, I got 3 locations today, is in Hollister, Missouri. So I love this home. It's a ranch style home. The most common house in America, believe it, is a ranch style. So when I see this, I know it's gonna be a pretty universal design. What I like to do is, what is the vibe of this house? Let's look at the architecture first. I'd say this is a modern farmhouse ranch, right? It's that Chip and Joanna Gaines kind of feel. So I want to keep the landscaping simple, clean, elegant, and not do too terribly much with it. So the first thing I want to talk about is how do we want to lay out the beds? I always like bringing the beds out away from the house, and a mixture of mulch and gravel is actually pretty cool to do if it makes sense. The reason I think it makes sense versus doing all mulch along the foundation and that first forefront bed is because I know there's gonna be gravel because of this little gully where the water is gonna go through. Everything for the house and the runoff is gonna go into there. So I wanna tie that ribbon of gravel in to the landscaping. So we did a cool little strip that can be 18 inches to 2 feet off the foundation of the house. And then I wanted to soften with the mulch. So we got a cool layout already going here. Mulch, I believe, is gonna be a softer look. It's going to be a little cheaper, but in time, it's probably gonna catch up and be more expensive because you're gonna have to do it every single year, freshen up the beds. Gravel, it's an upfront investment. It's definitely gonna be more expensive. You got the fabric, the sod staples, the gravel itself coming in, but you're kind of one and done. You might have to stay on top of the weeding, but there's pros and cons to both. Okay, second thing is, when I see 2 windows and I see a lot of real estate in between there, I call it a dead space, there's 2 things you can do. You could put 1 cool focal point, or sometimes it could be 2 or 3. Here, I felt 2 European hornbeams, these cylinder kind of looking trees, were perfect to anchor that dead spot and become a focal point and cut down all the noise, all that dead real estate. Finally, just some simple, elegant, easy landscaping. Got a bunch of soft touch hollies, got some Hamlins that are lining in that mulch, and then I wanted to create 2 different areas where we could get pops of color. So it's got that kind of seasonal vibe. You could do annuals, you could do perennials, you could do mums in the fall, which I represented here. So on the one hook by the lilac and over by the boulder, over by the telephone pole, we kind of busied those up and made some color, made some pops. So we've got a clean, easy, very easy to install design. Got a beautiful lawn. Of course, make sure you got a nice grass that's going with this versus just all of the beds, and you're good to go. Let's go on to number 2. All right, next we are in Concord, California. Now, before we get into this design, one thing I'll say is if you need help with the design, if you were looking or you just want some clever ideas, I'm happy to help you. Go down to the links below. Most of these are YouTube subscribers who have watched the channel for a minute, and we've done some work together. I love to do this. It's really fun, and I would love to help you. So, Concord, California. I want to talk about privacy. We talked about different areas and zones in many, many videos that I've put out. In this particular case, we do have a zone. This is going to be dedicated to their kids. It's like a playground area, but later in life, after the playground gets, taken out of there, could be a fire pit area for the adults. But right now, if we're gonna put a playground on this front side of the house, this makes sense for this particular layout. We wanna create a little bit of privacy. So what we're doing is getting some Italian cypress, which is a slender, nice and tall evergreen that's gonna look great year round, or it could be an arborvitae if you're in another zone. There's ways to do that. But I also like to break it up with some kind of color in between there. So if you do azaleas, which is what I selected here, it's gonna get big enough to span the space of the two Italian cypress, cover the fence, and create almost this hedge effect. It's gonna take time, but it's gonna look absolutely beautiful and cut down the line of sight so that it's not completely blank and everybody's looking in and watching you, right? The last thing is, you'll see that we did do some gravel and mulch again. We dedicated a gravel area for the playground and then softened with mulch on the outside. Got the Hamlin grasses, some yuccas up against the house, and then we did that mulch, we kind of carried it out past the fence into their existing landscaping. So this is a layout where we're kind of working with what they already have and just enhancing and defining the area. Let's go to number 3. All right, our final pit stop is in Waynesboro, Georgia. Now, this is a really cool design for a lot of reasons. Most of the time I'm talking about residential on this channel. We're talking about houses. This is actually a business. This is a trailer park. So how do you enhance a place like that and make it look more welcoming and softer and a place that people want to come home to every single day? The front right now, it's just desolate, right? It's just a bunch of gravel and there's not really lawn going on and it just doesn't look the best. The sign is just kind of this like sign just is sticking out there. We can do so much more here. And if you have a business, these are the kinds of little things you can do to enhance your space. Even like the front, your mailbox, I'm gonna talk about that here. So first off, let's talk about a little bit of privacy, hiding some unsightly stuff. So if we have a bunch of trailers and we've got a bunch of overgrowth, things that you probably don't want to see when you're first getting that first impression, like maybe I'll stay here, maybe I won't, is let's break it up. And we chose some large trees. I got some spruce that, boom, are getting defined and taken all the way down. We've got a gravel bed with some mulch strips to keep in the moisture a little bit better. And now we're blocking the line of sight from the road of all the homes and the brush, the overgrowth that's going there. So if you have a residential house and you're looking to maybe block the neighbors or cut down the line of sight, that kind of template can be used along a fence line, along the back, the sides, whatever. It's something that's universal. The second thing is, if we're talking about a welcoming entrance, like you really want to make a good first impression, whether it's a home or a business, I think that leading people's eyes with similar plantings is always an effective way. Took some boxwoods, took the gravel that we took off that strip and just lined along the entranceway to almost like a runway, right? Welcoming people in, like, come on in, it's safe, it's warm, come on in here, the water's warm, right? That's all you gotta do, and that's low maintenance, it's easy to take care of. Your business, you don't wanna get out there and do a bunch of maintenance. That is something that anybody can use. And finally, we talked about the sign. It almost looked like a little yard sign. I think we can do better. If you have a mailbox or if you have a business and you wanna put a sign, I love these privacy signs with these modern numbers on there, just really making a statement of you're in the right place, we take care of our stuff, put some cone flowers around it or mums or whatever the season is and make it look nice. And all of a sudden we went from gravel to a beautiful, beautiful front appearance for this business. I think it does wonders and it's going to be a great investment for their property. Now, this all starts with the design. Value and design. If you are looking for a design, send me an email, go in the links below. I'm going to give a discount. All you gotta do is in the subject line say fall, and you will find out all about the process and how affordable this really is. I would love to help you. If you wanna watch some more videos, go check out this playlist. This is great, lots of different examples. This is Bobby K saying creation is everything, so go out and create. Thank you for being here.
Ice in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed all the